Good evening. Welcome to the Donny Chain Gang. It's a little bit wet outside. We just about managed to avoid the rain when we're doing the prize draw for the 1080 goodies. And we're fortunate enough to have come back inside the studio, or at least I have, to make sure that we had all the graphics ready for today. Russ wasn't so fortunate, as you may have seen. He's been out in the rain, heading back from my house, heading back from the draw back to his, and got just a little bit damp. And you may notice, in fact, Russ's avatar at the moment, his socks are currently in the dryer, so he's not got them on today. We're going to catch up with Russ, and we'll just see if we can get hold of him with the wonders of a modern technology. So let's see if we can get Russ live and on the Good Days Loud.
Hey,
Good evening, Russ. How are you, mate?
Drier than about an hour and a half ago.
You got a little bit wet on the way home from mine when we did the draw, did you?
I think we had too many coffees, mate, and we dragged it out too long, didn't we? But yeah, it was all worth it.
You know, I can't say anything. I've got another one on the go now, but that might just be trying to dry out from getting all the kit in from when you ran away in the as the rain came down. It was a little bit torrential, but we got the draw done, didn't we? And our winner, one of our regular riders as well, which is great.
Yeah, it's Gail. I think she was on right from the start, you know. So yeah, it was a great draw, you know. As like I said, there was people in there with two names, Festy Road, Tuesday and Thursday. So I think Gail only did one, so she was lucky, you know. She's got a set of Oakleys to pick from. So yeah, it was a great little competition from Ian at 1080 down there.
Yeah, and of course, this is the last Oakley August day, isn't it? The last Oakley August chain gang that we've got this year, because we're into September next week, and I think the numbers are likely to skyrocket, aren't they?
Yeah, I think it's going to be over 100 tonight, and I think what Ian said at the start was, I don't think it's going to be a random one like we did for the women. It's going to be more of he's going to pick what he sees was the best performance, whether it be, answering the door halfway to the gas man and then getting back on and chasing on. Just, you know, he's going to have a scroll through what's gone on in the month and pick a guy out. So yeah, it should be good fun and good luck, Ian.
Yeah, I keep always being amazed by just the stories and the number of people who keep getting new power FTPs and you know, best performances. They maybe set a record on a segment that they were doing, like Keith Hill, like we saw on Tuesday. And it's not just the riders who've been in since the start. Some of our newer riders are really getting in there quickly, aren't they? But that's because of how it's structured and how we start off steady and we get quicker towards the end. It's designed to do that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not so much, well, it is all about the Donny Chain Gang, but, you know, they're all improving on that, but then they go outside the Donny Chain Gang. I think we saw someone yesterday do a 9-minute improvement on Alp the Zwift, so it shows that the gang is drawing people to train a little bit harder, a bit more structure, and that's what I wanted from the start, you know. It's kind of been a hard period over the last few months.
Yeah.
So to encourage everyone to ride together and stay together. Like you can see, if you've got someone egging you on and dragging you forward, you're going to get better numbers. So it's all good.
It is, and tonight we are backing the firm favourite that is Thursday nights of Greater London Flat Circuit. You and I must know every paving stone and grate cover on it pretty much over the years, and definitely the case now that we've been on there so often on the Chain Gang. It's 3 full laps, is it not, with the lead in to start?
Yeah, I think the 5.7k the lead in.
Yeah.
So then nothing's meant to happen on the mile the first time, but you never know. So we'll do the lead in, then 1 full lap with a sprint at the end, a massive regroup, and then try and have 1 control lap on really looking after people, which we have done, and then it just gets. It doesn't get crazy fast straight away, but it just gets faster and faster, a bit like a ramp test, and then coming into the tunnel with, 15, 16k to go, that's when people start to squeeze, and then 1 full lap and finish. So
yep.
Yeah, it sounds easy when you put it like that. Like
it does.
but
I don't think it's going to be the case, definitely, if that's how it works, that's for sure. I think it's going to be really interesting to see just how everybody gets on with the ride, that's for sure. And of course, we do know that it's going to be very, very quick at the end. And the one thing you can almost guarantee is you're going to get dropped because, let's face it, if you take out the win or the first rider over the line, you're probably a pro or should be.
That's it, yeah. Or you just the fat cyclist who's got 100 kilos of pure power. And,
there's not a lot of fat on that man. That there's no way, not for the number he puts out.
No, if you can't get rid of him on the underpass, then you're not going to get rid of him in that final. And you can lead him out, jump him, do whatever, but he's always going to have you. He's actually commenting online now about some 3% ill. So I think
oddly enough, he says he quite likes the course.
So we can all attack him.
We'll see. Well, Kieran Smith's got a good record on here as well, and he's been flying. Nicholas Cook was quick, of course, last time out, but we had a nice big hill in there. We've seen Rob Copeland coming back, and we know Rob's had some very fast times around here as well. I think tonight's going to be interesting, but Kieran is definitely with us. He's just joined, so he's my money, but you never know. Maybe that ride in the rain has got your legs just ready to go, Russ.
I was going, actually. I was like, I don't want to be out in this for any longer than I have to be, so I up the average speed by a couple of K on the way home, and it's more or less all uphill, like we discussed, Matt. So.
It's all uphill from here. I mean, I think at the moment I'm about in the middle of a puddle, to be honest. So
I set a Strava time from my house. From your house to mine. So we'll have to have a bit of a challenge on that and see if you can beat it one day. And come
That's not a problem, mate. So long as I can take either a motorbike or a very fast car, I'll be all right.
Yeah,
not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Me beat you on a bike, is it? Not for a long time. I can only just about roll you on Zwift by cheating. So,
not in the rain as well. I don't like
definitely not in the rain. We'll see. Well, we're going to let you get up because we've got less than 2 minutes to go to make sure everybody's briefed and knows exactly what they're going to do. So, thank you very much, Russ. We'll try and catch up with you somewhere around the circuit. Let's see what happens.
All right, then, mate. Enjoy the ride.
Yeah, enjoy the tunes. See you in a bit, Russ. So, Russ, there. Let's show you the course for tonight as we leave Russ to some. I think it was soft cell at that point. We'll get across to the map. Greater London Flat. It's a regular course. You see the blue dot running across on the red of the run in before coming through the first time through the mile. Nothing happening there. Once round the big circuit, which is going in a clockwise direction down by the river, climbing up over the bumps, through the underpass at Hyde Park Corner, and then down through the mile for a big sprint. We're then going to do 2 further laps on the way round of that, with of course the ride getting quicker and quicker and quicker as the ride goes on. 5.7k in running, that's 3.5 miles on the run into the circuit. 11.6 kilometres, 7.2 miles, and the elevation is 45 metres per lap, but, and it is a big but, where that elevation is absolutely critical. Now, if we show you the profile, it looks quite hilly, but what we've done is we've stretched it out. The wonders of the Velo Viewer app. And if you don't have Velo Viewer, if you've not seen it, you've got to get on there. It's an absolute paradise for anybody who's into cycling. It's used by commentators, myself, Bryce Smithy. We all use it to make sure we know what's coming up. All the pro teams use it as well because it's absolutely invaluable in showing what the course is like, what the profile is like, what you've got coming up in front. Now, our course comes in and we're going to ride in to this course from the right-hand side, about 2/3 of the way up. You see there's a point where 3 parts of the course join. We actually join from a 4th section coming in directly across the screen. So we shoot directly across and into the course. And we go up the slight little stub, which is going up the mile and up onto Constitution Hill. We then drop back down and go round the river. Now, the way the river runs, basically that's coming down and going round the bottom and then coming back up. And as you start to come up, you'll see that there are a couple of little bumps in there until you go up over towards the very high point right over the top. What then happens is we drop down into the underpass before coming back up to the high point of the course, drop down and then keep on dropping down into the mile. Now that underpass is the critical part of this course. If anybody lets a wheel go coming over the crest of the hill and down into it, that gap will open. Once that gap opens, everyone chases in, but you then hit that steep climb up, and once you hit that steep climb up, that is where it's going to get tough. So the bumps will separate a few people out the back. Coming up that climb, it's going to be really, really tricky. So time to get the power down, guys, because our riders are about to head off from the start line. We're going to make sure that we're covering absolutely everybody out there. So get that profile in your head and have a little bit of a look on there. Make sure you get that absolutely nailed, because without that you're going to really struggle to make sure that you've got it exactly where you want it to be. We're going to join Russ live on the course on the phone in a bit. However, at the moment, let's jump in with him. Let's see where they are. Looks like the ride just starting to roll out there. As you can see on your screen, up in the top left-hand corner, you can see Russ's power. It's currently 125, 130 watts. Across on the other side of the screen, right over there, at the top of the screen, you're going to have the map at the moment showing the 3D view as we roll in towards the screen. And you'll see as we change that on the commentary, that will change to a 2D zoomed out, a 3D zoomed in, and a standard zoomed in version. It looks like one or two people getting power drop outs already. That's going to be kicking the way back in, and it's looking lined out already. So I think Russ is going to be quickly onto the messenger, getting people to back it off. Everybody panics to start off with. So just watching Russ now on the screen. Let's jump in. I'm going to grab some OTE. And don't forget, of course, our sponsors down on the line down there. We're going to be able to take a little bit of a look at Russ steadily working his way. I think he's going to move his way up, and it's just starting to blob. And that's the nickname for the whole lot, scooting back together again. And you can see there are one or two people still powering the way on towards the front here, and they're going to get themselves a little bit of a reputation if they're not careful, because what you need to do is to keep it nice and steady, try and pull that whole group back together. And looks like Russ just rolling down onto the front with the settle down kids. Most appropriate, Russ. So all about keeping it nice and steady around the front, sitting at 2.5 watts per kilo. Let's take a little bit of a look down into the group. It looks like our red beacon sitting down near the back there, and I think most of our riders getting away pretty smoothly here. So the riders on their way down along the mile. If we zoom in top right hand side, you will see looking pretty smooth at the moment, although just lining out a little bit as it goes down this slight descent here, 3% downhill. We've got a few new riders on. Good to see Hannah Howitt joining us from the Isle of Man, joining Becky's story. We've got Amy Morn back in again. Don't forget, of course, we have some of our regulars. Gail Phillips, our winner from the women's draw for the Oakleys, is in with us. And Gail down in the ride. We're going to take a little bit of a zoom in to Gail. Let's have a look at first winner of the night. And first winner of the day, and that is Gail, who's riding along here nice and smoothly in the blue. Gail Phillips, winner of the Oakley draw, and a massive thank you to 1080 and to Ian Taylor doing the business for us. They have been sponsoring the whole of August, one of our biggest giveaways that we've had. There's been loads of t-shirts, loads of baseball hats, and of course the Oakley giveaway. We've got the Women's Week done, and Oakley's going to Gail, and of course there's going to be some Oakley's going to the best riders who's put in the best improvements. So that could be that they've improved their FTP, it could be that they managed to get to catch the bus in the morning as they go chasing down the road, it could be that they've got the fastest sprint time, that they finally won the sprint for the cafe on their local ride. Whatever that improvement is, that's what we're after. So as our riders make their way along the side of the Thames, you can just see on the map view out to the left, and just to the left of the riders we follow them along this straight. Most of our riders looking like they are all together, so what we need to do is make sure that this stays together on its way in. Now the first kick is when we take the right hand turn away from the river. And this group looking like it's pretty much all together. Martin Bolt just sat on the back of the group, and I'm thinking that pretty much all our riders in here. Good to see Eddie Dench is back again. We've got Eleanor Davis coming from the Isle of Man. There's a lot of Isle of Man riders joining us tonight. So word clearly spreading in amongst the Manx riders that it's definitely a way to get quick fast. Probably helped by the fact that Andrew Roach, former pro and now coach, is definitely one of our regular riders, and he's one of those riders who we see in on the chain gang week in, week out, riding very, very strongly, as you'd expect from an ex-pro. So the group holding together at the moment, and one nice blob heading in. Now, if we show you on the map view, I'm sure you're all pretty familiar with the course. However, we're going to take this right-hand turn up, and you do a sharp right on towards the dead-end stub, which is going down past the station, heading back around through the U-turn, the dead turn underneath the kite from the Ride London, coming back in towards Trafalgar Square, which is the what looks like a roundabout in the centre, before heading down onto the Mall for the first time. So here we go, up onto the climb for the first time. This is where you see who's going to panic, who is going to be the rider who is going to be hitting those power-ups first, and that's a really nice solid group here. So long as the riders at the front don't hammer it too much here, we should see everybody staying together as they come in and through, and a really big group here making its way out, just starting to stretch out a little bit here as the riders come up. Hopefully the guys on the front are going to be able to ride in their enthusiasm, just hold it all together. And I think if Tuesday's ride proved anything, it doesn't matter how slow you go at the start, it's all about having something at the end of the ride. So here we go, we're going to take the turn. This is around Trafalgar Square here, just see the base of Nelson's Column. We're going to cross towards the National Art Gallery as we spin around and on to the straight at the moment. And if we take a little bit of a spin through the buildings, the wonders of having a virtual drone cam, you can just see the back just a little bit fractured with some gaps opening up here. Remember, 6 metres is the distance before the gap opens and the draft is lost. And that's exactly what they don't want to happen. So remember, guys, if you're on the front, if you're listening to this live, if you're not, why not? If you are, thank you very much for joining us. And remember, you can listen and watch live. If you've got multiple screens, you can listen live, even if you've just got the one computer, because all you do is switch your audio over to the YouTube channel. Down in Cycling, of course, supporting this with Russ and Dean, as well as myself, Matt Payne from Full Speed Events, making sure we bring this to you, all done all on a voluntary basis, basically to make sure that we stitch something for our riders together during lockdown to support the cycling scene. And that's exactly what we've been aiming to do. Hopefully it's working for everybody. Certainly seem to be getting plenty of improvements, and I can't wait to see who Ian Taylor picks out, the man from 1080. Now, as we take a look down, Russ just sitting at the back of this group at the moment, just patrolling the back. I think he's going to be looking to keep this all together for a fair while. And I think just seeing some of our regular riders, because see Maddie Smith is in here, John Hind, looks like Andrew Thornley is in, Altaf, he's saying good to see Altaf back. I think Ellie Swingle is riding, so let's take a quick check. Ellie, another of the riders joining us. I haven't seen Ellie on the chain gang. If I've got the right rider, we'll soon find out. The wonders of the Zwift app. It is indeed Ellie Swingle, so good to see Ellie on the chain gang as well. I've seen Millie Skinner in here, and lots of our riders coming back. Spence is here, Spence Hill in this group, and I think we're going to see a few returning names as well, including one man who's on his way back after having a little bit of an off on his mountain bike, and that is our friend from the MTB Alliance. It is, of course, going to be Chris coming back. We're just going to try and see if we can grab him out of the companion. That was such a massive group. That is not the easiest of things to do, because it is a huge group here, as these riders all make their way in and through down the straight here. It's like Dan Cogan coming back in to join us again. Gibbo's back once again. David Raynham is back. Sonia Inslee, Stu Parr, Eleanor Davis is here from the Isle of Man. Looks like Eddie Dench coming back. Brett Daughtry, Dean Hyam. Kieran Smith, as we said, is in. Andy Bishop-Bish with a good sprint at the end, coming up to the top of the hill. Last time, Amy Morn, another of our regulars. Ryan Williams is back in again. So the riders coming down through the mile, holding it all together, and we're now going to come round. Coming past the wedding cake, I'm not quite sure that we do have a picture of a rider on the winged rider on the bike over the top, and the times reflecting. It's steady away at the moment. Looks like Ian Bibby's managed to join us once again, and great to see Ian back in. Rode last time out on Tuesday, so let's take a quick jump in with the former national champion, and of course a regular cross rider as well. So let's take a look up in the sky. If we're looking for Mr. Bibby, he's in the black, he's on his concept bike once again with the blue, and Ian Bibby looking just like he does in real life. He is that handsome honest gov. So good to have Bibby back in, and Bibby just riding alongside Russ at the moment. Looks like Davies is not too far away. Roper on the back. Carl Kaplinski's back in. Carl with that fantastic artwork, and good to see these riders are rolling around, and just taking a little bit of a look. All these riders in and around the turn. I think pretty much everybody all together here. Just taking a little bit of a look at the back of the screens, and it looks like everybody is in together, with Ian Bibby just dropping on the back. Just I think Liz Grimshaw just making her way in on to the back of the bit. We're just going to double check that on the way through. Nicholas just dropping towards the back of the bit. Don't think she's off the back. We will see as these riders come in and through. It is very, very tricky because of course the updates on the screen are applying to our riders as they come in towards the group and on to the circuit. So it's like Tristan just at the front. The riders just having a roll back, I think, to pick up riders who are just behind. And let's take a little bit of a zoom in here. Yeah, just seeing that the guys just rolling back. So looks like Ian Bibby, looks like Wise of MI Racing doing the same. That's Mark Wise. And let's take a little bit of a look at Mark. Mark just rolling back through here. You just see this group just making its way on. And I think Wise is going to need to just pick that pace up. Looks like Miss Cookie just currently kicking 2 watts per kilo. So Russ at the moment 3 seconds in front of Wise. Cookie's 8 seconds back. So there is a group off the back, and I think if Russ and Martin Bolt, our red sweeper, get the word out, they can back this right the way down. They can pull this back together, and we could get the entire group round to the front. So we're going to drop in with Grimshaw. Oxenham's gone back, and here he is. This is what you want to see. This is what we talked about last time. It's all about getting the riders on. If you are a fast rider and you are able to go off the front, what you are able to do is do exactly what you should do on a chain gang. Go back. Remember, guys, it's 6 meters is the gap. That's what we're looking for, to keep that gap down. Sub 6 meters, and you won't be working on. So 2 watts per kilo is what we're after from the guys on the front. This group of 4 riders on the back are working hard. They're pushing out between about 3.5 and 4.5 watts per kilo, some of these guys. And some of these riders, that's beyond their FTP. That's beyond their standard functional threshold they can do for now. They're really working hard to get back on again. Russ just waiting back a little bit at the moment, just holding back, trying to get to this next group in. They need to be careful they don't drop the riders. Remember, as it goes uphill, guys, it's going to split apart. You know, it's all about getting that group together to the front. Will we have the first time ever that we have got the whole group over the line in one go as we go through? Ignore me at the bottom. I'm sat on the start line at the moment, not going anywhere. So at the moment, our riders are currently spread out. They're about 26 seconds is the back of the bunch from the back of the field here. Looks like Oxenham in a group here. Simon Oxenham, one of our regular riders, and you can just see they are sweeping 1 or 2 riders into that group. Ted's in that group there, Raynham's in that group. But they're going to have to be careful they don't leave just one of our riders behind in their efforts to bring riders up. Looks like there's 1 or 2 riders just being distanced by the pace on the front, and if we take a little bit of a look, it's looking a little bit interesting up on the front. Let's see who is giving it the hammer, which is not what's needed right at the moment. Remember, guys, we're aiming to go around at sub 2.5 watts per kilo. Now let's go take a little bit of a look up at the front of the group. Remember, this applies mostly the watts per kilo to the guys rather than the girls, and that's quite simply because it's all about power to weight ratio. Normally on a climb, that's not the case when we're riding along the flat, because on the flat, big riders with plenty of power are going to be able to hammer away. So we're going to jump in with Becky's story, one of our really strong women, and rider we know is very, very quick indeed. And Becky is going to be pushing out over 3 watts per kilo because she's so light for her to do the power that the guys at the front are doing. You can see Becky at the moment sitting at about 3 watts per kilo as she sits around about the 150 watts mark, and that basically means she's having to put out a lot more watts per kilo to do the power that's required to sit near the front. Remember guys, 2.5 watts per kilo max on the front. We'll let the riders come back in if they are in a group. Looks like Martin and Russ back in here. Remember, our riders will improve week on week. If you get shelled week 1, keep going, and it takes longer and longer before you're going to get spat out of the back of that group. It does happen to basically everybody. The one thing you can guarantee is that you are going to take a packet at some point, because the pros on the front are going to be able to drop you if they need to. Now, Russ just sat on the front at the moment, just trying to keep some control on there as this group goes hurtling through. And you can just see at the back Martin Bolt patrolling the back of that bunch at the moment. Now once we get over 100 riders, the commentary as well as the companion app will focus on the nearest 100 riders. That makes life a little bit more interesting for us as we take a little bit of a look around, because what we're aiming to do is find the riders who are out of the back of the group. Not very easy necessarily when we've got over 100 riders, particularly when they stay bunched up as they are at the moment. So these riders are rolling around in this bunch at the minute, and you can just see plenty of thumbs up coming down. The Martin Bolt, our beacon, are riding around in this group so well. Looks like Emma Collier doing a good ride in here, sitting in near Amy Morn once again. And these 2 riders, Amy, one of our regulars from pretty much the word go. Emma Collier, one of our newer riders, and I think Emma is the rider just to the left of the screen there in the pink and blue. 1 or 2 riders just getting a bit of a drop out on the way through, and that means that we're going to see a little bit of road movement. Remember, of course, it does make a huge difference to the riders just how much processing power they've got, how much the internet is affected by the rain at home. There's certain riders we know whose internet has a hard time, let's say, when it gets a little bit damp. But at the moment, as you can see, these are riders riding through strongly. Keep an eye out for your names if you're out on screen as well, as we stay with Lake here from Team Melt, and you can see sat in the middle of that group, it's a decent sized blob at the moment. Just seen Sonia Inslee in with Amy Morn in there. Looks like Law's in here, Luke Taylor, Alan's in here, Russell Lindley as well. Chris from the Alliance MTB, the man who we were talking about on his way back from injury, is just coming into shots. Let's have a little look at Chris. Let's see what kit he's in today. Nice high-vis fluo kit there, and good to have Chris back in. One half of Maverick and Goose making it back in. You have to watch the reruns on the Downhill Cycling YouTube channel to know who the other part of the duo is at the moment, having to ride at a time that isn't conducive to riding the chain gang. However, at least one of the duo are back, and good to see Chris riding so strongly here. Good to have you back, mate. Hope the injuries are holding up well, and keep it rubber side down on the mountain bikes. Not my strong point, and hope you're better at it than me, although your current track record is very similar to mine. Okay, taking a little bit of a look at this group. It's holding it together okay. We've gone away from the river, and if we take a look up, we're about to hit the turns through the square here. So if we go up to the Iron Sky with the camera up there, we're going to be able to get a better idea of just how our riders stay together. You can see the yellow beacon is Russ, the red beacon Martin Bolt, and at the moment that group is holding a nice and steady. Chris from the Alliance MTV Squad is the rider that we're focused on, and he's dead centre in this group. But as we take a little bit of a zoom in on them, you can see this group exiting nice and steady. So remembering to stay in the wheels is absolutely critical to these guys. Now we're coming on this climb up. Now we're going to drop across to a little bit of a side view as they come in and through. Currently rolling on the level. It will pick up the gradient as we make our way up here. Now we're going to focus in on a couple more of our riders. Because see, Alan Parsons not having a mechanical this time round as we jump in with the fat cyclist, and he's not fat, it's 100 kilos of pure muscle, that is for sure. That's always been my excuse. I think it's not quite so true, because fat cyclist at 100 kilos, he's one of our big riders, and he's one of our most powerful riders out on the chain gang. Will he be able to put that to good effect when we come down into the sprint? You can see coming through these zigzags at the moment, the group just about holding together. Riders at the back, don't let that gap go. If the gap goes more than 6 meters, that's when things become difficult. 1 or 2 riders just rolling at the back. Emma Collier just sat on the back there. Emma, you need to move up, kiddo, because you're going to find the pressure comes on as you come round this corner. If you're sat at the back of the group, this is where it's going to go. You just see Collier there on the back of that group, just holding the wheels at the moment at 3.3 watts per kilo, and having to fight here to get onto the back. Now up to 4 watts per kilo, needs to move up into this group, because we're now going to be starting to ride in towards the side of Hyde Park. If we take a little bit of a zoom out, Hyde Park coming up, the blue on the map is the Serpentine. No dipping in the cold today. We have got a slight descent here, and then it picks back up again before the drop down in towards the underpass. Now Sonia Inslee just rolling at the back here, just keeping an eye on this. Our riders at the back need to push on. Riders at the front, guys, don't go too hard here, otherwise you're going to split this group in two. Riders on the back, this is where you need to move in towards the middle of the blob. Our stronger riders, no doubt, going to be watching out for those riders who are just having a little bit of a hard time trying to fill the gaps in this group. So that is the key, keeping it smooth all the way together. If a gap goes more than 6 meters, that is where things get very interesting indeed. Now down in towards the underpass, it's dropping down. We're going to drop right down in with our riders here. So we follow in our fat cyclist sitting at the back of this group. He knows he needs to roll from back to front when he hits the sprint, but at the moment more than comfortable in this group. Now here we go, you can just see these riders are rolling down the hill at the moment. They're going to come into the levelling out on the map. We're going right underneath Hyde Park Corner, and if you've ever ridden this in real life, it is an absolute what's it coming out here. It's very, very quick. You're not meant to necessarily ride down there. I've done it a few times, chasing vehicles through there, and it is pretty tough stuff. To get back up on here, it's a 4% climb, and if we take a little bit of a look back, I think all of that group just about holding it together. Well done, guys. It's really good to see that our riders are holding smoothly there, and it looks like that main pack at the moment is holding together well. Just seeing Maddie Smith not too far off the towards the back of that group. Just seeing a little group at the back just in danger of being distanced there. Just trying to work out who's in the gap, but it looks like some of our more experienced riders, or certain riders with the bikes that say that they've done plenty of riding on Zwift, filling the gaps in nicely there, which is what we want to see. If you are taking a look up on your map and you are riding, remember guys, what we're after, fill the gaps, make a blob. That's how we're going to be able to get the riders round in one group. So just taking a little bit of a look up here as our riders come up. This is the steep climb up towards the end, and we turn down. So this is the big climb up, and as you can see, 4% at peak, going to 3%. But once we come up to the top and we start coming around this corner up near the top, this is where things get very, very interesting indeed. So here we go. You can just see the riders just coming around the top of here, and it very quickly goes downhill now, and our riders are dropping down here. It's a 4% descent, and you can just see the gaps are just starting to open up midway through. Everybody has to chase really hard. If you're at the back here, you can see behind us our beacon Martin Bolt just being distanced. The gaps have opened, the speed goes up, the gap opens, you lose the draft, and that is when the group can break up. Our riders need to make sure that they don't get too distanced at this stage. Now we're going to keep an eye out and see who we're looking for the sprint on the way in. We've got some very fast riders out there. The question is, who is going to have the pace to ride this through quickly enough? Who's got the timing right to go through the pack? Remember, the fastest way to ride a sprint on Zwift is to ride from the back of the group to the front of the group. If you do that, you will get yourself up on the leaderboard. We're going to jump in with one of our very fast young riders, Kieran Smith. Kieran is one of our key riders. He's riding here in the black. If we take a look at Kieran doesn't quite look like that in real life. He's much younger, and he's just as quick. He's certainly one of our very fast riders, the lead of this group, already coming round and in underneath. And Kieran, just as you can see as we spin round underneath Admiralty Arch, looking good. The front of the group is already winding it up, but watch for Kieran's kick here. He's currently sitting in at 6.2 watts per kilo. He's looking to move his way up through to the front of the group. When you see the 200-meter sign, that's where the green line is, that's where the kick goes. Now up to 7 watts per kilo. Remember, Kieran Smith in the black here, goes through the line, out of the saddle here. He's going to be looking to get the fastest time. Remember, it's going to be quick here today. Lots of riders, lots of draft available. Who's going to get the quickest time? They're going to see as it updates its way through. Kieran Smith takes it 9.35 there from Kieran Smith, beating a man from Hot Chili, the track sprinter. That's Nicholas with a 9.85. Russ Downing getting a 9.87. Dobson with a 9.92. 4 riders inside 10 seconds there. That is blisteringly quick on the way through. But this is where we need to do a bit of a regroup. Kieran taking the sprint there. So the top 5 riders, the fat cyclist with 10 seconds dead. 4th place is Dobson with a 9.92. Then it's Russ Downing, the bear himself, 9.87. Then it is going to be Nicholas Cook from Hot Chili with a 9.85. But the person who took the fastest men's time, that is Kieran Smith there, riding for a very fast time, 9.35. Now we're going to have a hunt down to see who got the fastest women's time. Certainly looks like Millie Skinner's got a good time there. Just keeping a track through here, Millie has certainly put in a quick time there. Has she got the quickest women's time? Just going to try and work through these riders. Story is quick, we know, but Millie Skinner looks like she may well have that fastest time. We're going to run down through these riders and see if we can find just who has got that time. We're going to first jump in with Becky Story. Now we know Story is quick. Becky has got it. So Becky took the fastest time there. The Manx rider riding in. Let's find out what time Becky put in. Our screen will scroll up on the left hand side of the sprint there. So Becky Story with an 11.22 seconds for the fastest women's time on the way through. And Story riding very strong, just sitting on the front of the group there. And she knows the score. She's going to try and back that pace off, try and get this group back together again. We've got to try and get all these riders gathered together. If you take a little bit of a look on the top of your screen, you will see that the red beacon is well and truly distanced at this stage. Already the leading group on its way down the mall, coming round, down Constitution Hill, turning right in front of the mall, around the side of Buckingham Palace, and going to be heading on to Birdcage Walk here. And as the riders do so, it is a long way back to the red beacon. The red beacon's still halfway down the hillside, halfway down Constitution Hill, and there are riders in fact behind the red beacon, so big gaps opening up. Let's try and give you some time gaps on the groups behind and tell you who is where. Main group on the road at the moment is a big pack of riders. Still the majority of riders are in there, but the first of the gaps back is at 16 seconds. We're going to jump back to group number 2. So this is group number 2 on the road. And group number 2, Chris from the Alliance MGB. It's got Anderson in here. We've got Ellie Swingle in here. Ryan Williams is in this group as well. That's quite surprising. Ryan, very, very fast rider. Anderson in there. Jones is in there as well. So these riders riding really, really well at the minute. And just distanced and currently 6 seconds from the group in front. So group 1 are on 6 seconds in front of this group. Behind this group at 10 seconds, we've got another big pack of riders. Let's take a little bit of a look who's in here. Barry Kipling, looks like Maddie Smith, Parry is in here, Borelli, Stefano Borelli is in this group as well. Looks like Carl Johnson in this group. So this is a pretty good group here, and they are currently 11 seconds off the back of the group in front, who are chasing hard, trying to place down onto the leading group. I think they're just about to make contact. So this group with some of our very regular names currently sitting just off the back of the pack in front. We're going to drop back to Martin Bolt. I think Bolt has got some company here. He has indeed. So looks like Emma Collier, Martin Bolt and Jay Allen is in this group. So Bolt, John Allen from Dirt and Emma Collier are in this group. In front of them, Andrew Roach is up there. We're just going to let it just do a little bit of a reformat, I think, because as we go round the corners, this is where our technology just fights to keep up with so many riders on the Donny chain gang. So here we are, we're just all watching our red beacon. This is Martin Bolt, not the last rider on the road by any stretch of the imagination. You can see behind Martin there are a couple more riders. So Allen and Collier, a group of 3. Now they've got riders just in front. We're going to see if they can pick them up. We're going to let them get round this right hand turn at the moment. So we're going to let it do a little bit of formatting. As it comes around the corner, it'll start to pick up the riders in front. Let's take a little bit of a look at Blackford. Blackford is just hanging on to the group in front. This is the leading group that Blackford is in with. Just taking a little bit of a look up. So we take a look at Mel Blackford at the moment. Sims, Hyam, Pearson, Herring. And this front group is still pretty fractured apart. You just see Russ is out the back of this group, and there are gaps opening up between the front of the group and the back of the group. We're just going to take a little bit of a look at the very front. Let's check nobody's pressing on those pedals in too silly a manner, because if they are, they're just going to pull this thing apart, and that's the last thing we want to happen. So it's like Logan Ryder dropping off the pace, keeping it down at 1.4, and Davis knows the score. He's keeping it drop back as well. Billy No Mate's doing the same. It's some really nice riding from the guys in front as we watch Mel Blackford. Luke Taylor is in this group as well. So our sponsor from 1080 is in here. As we take a little bit of a look into this group, you can just see behind the yellow beacon of Russell, well behind this group. We just drop off and away from the front, and behind Russ the riders are in 1s and 2s as well. So I think we're going to see a little bit of a call from Russ to pull this back together again. It's pretty fractured at the moment as these riders go up the straight, so we're going to try and work our way down towards the back of the groups, just whilst we get a chance to see just who is where. So we had a group that contained Carl Johnson along with Maddie Smith and others. We're going to see where they are. This is the group they are chasing at the moment. So we've got Stefano Borelli in the group, Maddie Smith. So it looks like Maddie, the national mountain bike and cross rider, leading the group. Maddie Smith leading the group out at the moment, and looks like she's doing the work, sitting at 4 watts per kilo. She needs to get some assistance from this group, but if Maddie is kicking 4.5 watts per kilo, they're going to be hard pressed to stay with her at the moment. Carl Johnson is in this group, but it's Maddie Smith who is leading this group along at the moment. Maddie from Bolsover, the Terminator herself, gets some assistance here. Barry Kipling, another of our regular cross riders and mountain bike riders, trying to keep that pace nice and high. They're working hard here. Parry just coming up onto the front now. They've got a rider just in front And we're just going to take a little bit of a look. It looks like they're going to pick up Ted here on his way through. Nice kit there, Ted. Reminds me of my Seacroft Wheelers days here. And they're working hard. They're currently 12 seconds off the back of Russ Downing, and they could get this back at the moment. The work being done by Maddie Smith and Parry at 4, nearly 5 watts per kilo at time, is not letting that group go too far clear at the moment. They are working very, very well here. Behind them, I think it's Sonia Inslee and Altaf Hussein who are going to be in no man's land between them and the group behind. So Borelli currently sat at the back of the group. If you take a look behind Borelli, you can't see the riders. That's because they are currently at 14 seconds. This is group number 3 on the road at the moment. So group number 3 is a big pack. This is going to be about 5 riders, if I'm not much mistaken. Yep, here we go. So 5 riders in here. The 5 riders are riding together in group 3. Altaf Hussein, Sonia Inslee, is Bradley Atkinson, Joshua Bird and Amy Morn in this group. They're riding well together at the moment. We'll drop back behind the riders in group number 3. We're going to try and drop across from that group towards our beacon. That is Martin Bolt. Let's take a little bit of a look who is with Martin. So Martin has John Allen with him, Emma Collier with him. It's going to be 32 seconds back to another one of our riders who's a little bit further down there, but the main pack already taking that turn off from the corner, and Martin Bolt just keeping that group together. So John Allen, Emma Collier just there, about 1 minute 10 behind the Amy Morn group. So let's jump in with the group just in front. This is the group of Morn. They are currently 20 seconds behind the group in front. And we're just taking a little bit of a look up to them. So this is Altaf Hussein, Sonia Inslee. It's going to be Atkinson making his way up here as well. And they are currently 22 seconds off the group in front, containing Barry Kipling. This is the group with Kipling in. So this is Barry Kipling, this is Carl Johnson, Maddie Smith, it's got Parry in here, we've got Stefano Borelli, looks like Alan Parsons dropped back in, Teddy's back here, Russ Rubas is in this group as well. You can see they're coming onto the back. Now they're 5 seconds potentially off the back. If more people drop back off that front group, they could be getting on here. And this is some ride to come back onto the group. You can see these riders are having to push out 4.5 watts per kilo. They're absolutely hammering the way in here. This is one of the best comebacks I've seen for a long time on the Donny Chain Gang. We're watching these riders come in and through, and they are smashing the way back onto the group. This is amazing to see, an absolutely fantastic job. You can see if we zoom in on the map, they're going to be right on the tail. Here they come as they make the way in. Thank you everybody who dropped back there for the riders, because you've pulled them back into the group. Russ now sitting at the back of the group. It's 40 seconds from the back of Russ to Altaf's group, and that's definitely not going to come back on. Altaf Hussein, Sonia Inslee, John Bird and co. It's a fantastic group of work bringing them back there. Great work by Ted. Remember Ted, of course, Andrew Edmond, one of our fantastic sweepers, pulling the riders in on the week that Martin Bolt was off. He did a standing job with James Allen as well. So if we take a little bit of a look as these riders come up towards the turn here, taking this right hand turn, it's going to be a big pack who are all together, and some great riding as Kipling starts to make his way up in towards the centre of that group. We're going to try and just go up is the drone cam up into the air, get a good view of this group together. Well guys, that is one of the best rides I've seen for a long time. Brilliant work. Wait for that group. They were smashing themselves to bits. Maddie Smith smashing out nearly 5 watts per kilo. None of the rest of the group were coming round. Then they started to come round in ones and twos. Riders dropping back, and that is amazing stuff there. And as Russ quite rightly says, absolutely awesome to see. Now, currently one rider just off the back. It's a rider who's waiting. We're just going to see who's just got dispatched off the back of this group. And I think it's going to be Gaz making his just off the back here. Let's drop in with Gaz. Come on, Gaz. Give it a bit of a push on here. 4 watts per kilo. He needs to give it some big beans here. get back on that group. They're at 6 seconds. We've got one rider just off the back of the group, but the group is going to be headed in towards the underpass, and that is dangerous territory. He needs to keep that pace up. He's up at 4.6 watts per kilo. Can he come back in again? Because Russ is right up on the front of the group. He's going to try and hold it together. Looks like Howitt just dropping back a little bit here to give making a bit of a hand. The group behind her at 30, it looks like Hussein and Inslee at 31 seconds. So that chasing group at over 30 seconds, and that gap now at 6 seconds from making it. He let the gap go, and unfortunately I think he's going to pay the price from that. We're going to drop into the main group here with Kieran Smith. He is our green jersey wearer. He's our ride leader at the moment. So here they come, they're absolutely smashing the way up towards the front here. Just rolling past one of our riders who's just going to be just pushed down and out of the back here. And certainly doing a great job. You just see a big sprint coming from behind for him to get back on again. I think he's dropped back for Making here. Making still just hanging around that back. He's still at about 7 seconds. But these riders are working well together up on the front here. So 14 Ks to the finish, and we just had a go from Russ. That means that the hammer is down. Timing is everything in this game. We managed to just get onto the front. He's let them all come over the group. That's bad news for Making. He's at the back here, but the pressure is going on the front. Kieran Smith up and nearer the 4-5 watts per kilo, just making sure he can hang on to the front. We've just seen some feathers go in. We've seen power-ups going in here as these riders start to really rip it up on the front of the group. Now, who is going to be able to hold on to this group as we come in towards this turn? Here we go, round the corner. And these riders have to keep it together. The pack is strung out as they go over the top. The front is just one line, about 6 riders across the road at the moment. Now we're sitting in with our green sprint jersey winner. Remember, we have one more sprint through the line and then one full lap to go. And he's let that go really early as Russ. That means he's going to be very, very interested as we run in. They're going to need some more OTE to keep me going to the finish. This is the front pack. Absolutely brutal on the front here. This pack is rolling around at about 4.5 watts per kilo on average, which means that we've got plenty of people up at the 5 watts per kilo, 6 watts per kilo mark on there. You can see lots of draft boost coming in behind, and it's splitting apart at the back. So remember, we have a full lap plus the turn into Trafalgar Square at the moment. These are riders at the front working as a group, trying to keep it well stretched out. You can see plenty of power-ups being used up. They're going to collect a new one if they are lucky on the way through the sprint line here. And at the back of this group you can see it is well and truly fractured. James Allen it is who is leading this out. Let's jump in with James, who is our beacon last week. And he's got Story on his wheel here. Story's going to be coming on to the front here alongside James Allen. You can see they're working really, really well here as they move on the way in and through. Jono is in the orange, just right up there. And our green jersey wearers of Story and Smith are not messing about here. They're not. I don't think they're even going to go for the sprint. They are just winding this thing up in some style at the moment. James Allen at 7.5 watts per kilo. On the 7.5, that is crazy. Tunnicliffe's going for it here. I think Tunnicliffe wants that sprint jersey. He's gone with 200 metres to go. He's going to kick his way in. Can he beat that 9.35? I'm not sure that he can. In through the line he goes. Kieran Smith's 9.35. He's still safe there. In fact, nobody touching the top of 5, and that is for sure. But it's Adi Dench and James Allen. Have they gone for a long one here? They've never got one full lap to go. We haven't seen anybody go for a long one for quite a while on the Greater London circuit, just because it doesn't lend itself to breakaways. The long run round the river is a war of attrition at the back of the group. It is not about breaking away normally. 1 or 2 people have done it in a breakaway. It takes some serious skill though, and some serious power to hold off a bunch. You can see everybody's hammering on through. They're not messing about. They've gone through that sprint line. And the front of this group, as we take a little bit of a look back in the front of the bunch here, it's looking pretty compact at the moment as it goes up there. If we take a little bit of a zoom in on the map, the front of it compact. If you look on your map now, there are dots all the way down that straight, and our red beacon not yet on to the mall. And James Allen continuing to push on at 6 watts per kilo here. That is going to make life very, very difficult for everybody behind you. You can see the gap is opened up. Now that is more than 6 meters. That means that the guys behind it in the front are not getting any draft off him. He's opened a gap, but they're trying to close it down. Remember, 6 meters is equivalent to 3 bike lengths. If you can get more than 3 bikes in between Allen and the chasing group, which you can at the moment, you can see he's not going to be doing much more work than Becky Story up on the front there. Now the pack behind is coming in. If you take a little look on the other side of the road, you will see the people who haven't been able to stay with his pace starting to form groups behind. And that's exactly what we're after on the chain gang. We want people to find a group. If you get distanced, the way the chain gang works, don't continue on your own. Back off the pace, let a group catch you, and then go. Not quite the same as you get distance from the start, as I've regularly been. It means that you need to just tap your way around at a steady pace till they come on. But remember, these groups are going to come quick, and this is what Alan's going to find. Russ working hard here with Sims, not doing all of the chase down, and now Alan is back in the group, and as you can see, just coming flooding around James Allen as he moves down. He's about 15th wheel now, puts a draft in on his way through. Interesting to watch that. So James Allen knew he had a draft. He saved it for the moment they came onto him, and that work as they came in, he's employed a draft. As he comes through, you can see that just starting to fade, and the riders very aware that they need to use that drafting to go through and make sure that they stay in with the pack. Now this is our leading group. You can see plenty of thumbs up raining down on our riders here as Alan's drafting power up has gone. The power up now used. He used that to stay with the group as they caught him after that big effort. And our riders are well and truly scattered all the way around this circuit now. So some very interesting rides already by people. Plenty of people. Looks like Millie Skinner just moving up here, trying to move up from 4th or 5th wheel off the back. Looks like Luke Taylor is back into the group. A man who's currently in quarantine, but doing the business. The 1080 man. Good to see him back in business and out on the chain gang. So our sponsors for the Oakley August 1080 doing the business. Please remember, guys, support the people who support your sport. These are the guys who've looked after us all month long with some fantastic prizes already going out. Some spot prizes, t-shirts, caps. There's of course the Oakleys going to Gail Phillips, and we'll see just where the final prizes go at the end of this week, because remember, it is the end of Oakley August. It's our last August ride. I can't believe how fast the time has flown as this group works its way along. I'm just going to take a little bit of a look back from Luke just to see where everybody is. You can just see, if you're in the pack, you're well in it. Once you get shelled, you're gone. You can't afford to let the gaps go. Parrington just working hard to close those gaps down in this front group. So remember, our riders finishing at the sprint line this time. This group containing Mick Hanley, Jono, Becky Story, Richard Dobson, Nicholas Cook, Jonathan Sims, Eddie Dench, Phil Linley, Andy Thornley, Dave Raynham, Russ Rubas, Dean Hyam, Craig Herring, Ron Barnard, Danny Smith, Daniel Smith, David Cass, Liam Callaway, Phil Ozike, Matt Fletcher, Ryan Williams, Brett Doughty in here, Matt Pritchard. It looks like Mel Blackford, Stu Parr, Rich Love, Mark Gibbons. The Fat Cyclist is in here as well. Russ Downing in here, Keith Richards, Zach Law in here, Nick Dorsey in here, Ryan Williams holding the wheels, Matt Fletcher in Bibby in here as well. Looks like Craig Geth holding the wheels, Raccoon is in here. And we're going to just jump towards the back of this group, I think, just to keep a little bit of an eye on what's happening behind. Let's jump in with Charlie Babbitt. So Babbitt is on the back there, doing some good driving, driver, and sitting on there. Parrington just trying to work his way up. Come on, big kick. You can just see Parrington putting in 8 watts per kilo just to jump onto the back. He knew that gap had gone, and you can't afford for that to happen at the moment. Babbitt sitting on the wheels. Babbitt is just, I think, fighting for this pace. It's 4.4 watts a kilo just to hang on to the back. The guys on the front doing much more than that. Remember, the draft extends in and through this group, At the back of the group, you cannot afford to let a gap go. If the wheels go, you are in big trouble. Come on, Mr. Parrington, you need to kick onto this. I know you just did a big sprint, but you can't drop off the pace. He's yo-yoing here, and he needs to get himself into the middle of the pack. Looks like Matthews has gone backwards. Legs have gone pop for Matthews there. 0.2 watts per kilos, and that is dangerous ground. You just keeping an eye. Charlie Babbitt is just being distanced here, and Babbitt's working hard. He's up to 4.5 watts per kilo to try and stay with the group, but he's being distanced. His legs have gone pop. Backs off to 0 watts per kilo. Parrington's at 0.9. This is the time, guys, to regroup. So Parrington, Babbitt, Matthews could all regroup here. Behind them, this is group number 2 on the road, and this isn't a little group, and there's some really good names in this. This is really good to see. So this is group number 2. They could sweep up quite a lot of riders. So in here, John Hyde, Ian Taylor, looks like Knight is in here, Hayward is in here, Matt Pritchard, Dave Fulton is in here. It looks like right in this group as well. Alan Parsons for Bolsover in the group as well. And this is a really nice group that's formed with Andy Fraser in here, Keith Hayward, Beefy from Cycleways, Chris Knight, Dave Fulton, Lee Spence Hill is in here, John Hyde, Ian Taylor, Alan Parsons in the group as well. And it's looking like a really good group. So this is the second big group on the road. We do have a group not too far behind. We're going to just try and jump back in with them quickly. And I think this is the group with Ted in here. Uncle Ted with my favourite bike. So let's take a look. This is Ted. This is group number 3. And if you ignore the solo riders in between, another big group here of 15 riders. Now in here, this is a really big group. We'll try and get everybody before they shoot off the screen. This group has Gaz Makin, Gail Phillips, Adam Royals, Rob Allen, Mike Clough, Maddie Smith, Chris from the Alliance MTB, Rich Orrell, Mike Llewellyn, Owen Davies. It's got Erwin Parry, Stefano Borelli. Mr. Borelli is in here. Buongiorno Stefano. Well, it's looking good, like Carl Johnson in here, Ian Russell is in here, Eddie Swingle in this, Barry Kipling just coming off onto the back here, Tom Jones is here, well done Boyo, Lone Rider making his way in as well. Looks like not too far behind is Gary from the Muscle Mechanics. We're going to see if Gary can get himself on. Come on Gary, big kick now, you might get yourself into this group. It's a big group in front. Behind then looks like Williams is on their own here, so Williams are working on their own. Altaf Hussein just distance behind. He's got a group behind and a group in front. He really is in no man's land here, so Williams and Hussein in danger of being stuck there for a while if they don't jump in with Morn, Inslee, Atkinson and Bird. If we take a little bit of a look back from this duo of Morn and Inslee, they've got Atkinson, Bird, Allen behind, Martin Bolts working well behind, Emma Collier is behind as well. Let's try and work our way up towards the front, jumping up through these groups towards our very front group. It's going to take a little bit of doing as we work our way up to the very front of the group. It's not as easy as it sounds. Let's jump in with Russ up at the front of the group. We can't afford to let this go too far now because quite simply we're running out of time to focus on our front group as they come in and around it. So you can see from the map up on the top there on that run into towards the underpass. We're going to finish at the sprint line this time. The kilometres are absolutely flying by, faster than the days of the year at the moment. Faster than daylight is running out on riding time during the day. At the moment, this is the leading group. Looks like Millie Skinner still in here. Becky Story is still in here. Our two women in this group. Ian Bibby riding strongly. Sam Emsley's back in. Rich Love's in here. Craig Genter's in here. Looks like Dean Smith is in here as well. Parr is in here. But who is your money on for the finish? Hanley has been very, very quick indeed. Nicholas Cook was our second fastest rider. Let's jump in with Nicholas. Nicholas was our second fastest rider in the sprint, riding in that Sigma Sport kit. The Hot Chili rider has company there, but is he going to be the rider to beat as they go through? He's almost right alongside Russ at the moment, and Nicholas, one of our good track riders, will he be the rider to beat when they come in? My money of the rider to beat is definitely going to be... Oh, good question. Yep, Kieran Smith for the win. Nicholas coming in third, Fat Cyclist coming in second, Russ coming in fourth. There you go, Matt's predictions, which means that none of this lot are even going to get into the top 10 if we're not careful. Good to see Barnard's back in from the cystic fibrosis team. As these riders go in towards the underpass, you can see just dropping down this slope at the moment. We're going to try and view them side on and get a decent look as we go up. You can see some drafting going on the way through. Sam Emily's holding in it well here. You can see Sam riding so strongly. It looks like reining in. Look at those power-ups going in now as we go on to the gradient. Everybody knows this is where you need it. We're going to zoom right across, get through those banners and try and get a look up on the front at the moment. You can see the power is going on. Dan Cogan's going. Well, I didn't pick Cogan to be right in there. And you can see the responses are coming. But Cogan has tried to open this up. He's the rider on the front. Dan Cogan with nearly 10 watts per kilo. Let's jump in with Cogan. Can he hold this? Let's take a look back as we go across to Cogan. Look at the gap behind him. They're trying to come across. Cogan now down to 7 watts, 8 watts per kilo. Down to, that's a phenomenal power. He's still holding it. Can Cogan keep that breakaway going? They are chasing hard behind, but they're at 2 seconds. That's about 25 to 30 meters. At the moment, they really are going to have to hammer. He's on a 3% hill here. And can Cogan hold them off? Look at this. Danny's doing a great job here. Behind him, though, Russ Downing is on the front now. Russ is not going to let this go. He doesn't want to let the breakaway go, but Downing can't do this. The Fat Cyclist has come up, and it looks like our sprinters could be in danger here. They're still at 2 seconds to the Fat Cyclist, 3 to Downing. Kieran Smith sees the danger as well, but Cogan is keeping the power on, and he's keeping this gap. Can he hold this gap? Oh, we're going to see a breakaway from the top of the hill take the win. Come on down, time to give it some beans, mate. This is going to be an amazing victory. If you can hold all these riders off, mate, I'll buy you a pint next time I see you in a pub. That is for sure. Come on, mate. Oh, the gap's coming down. Doughty's pulling it back. I think Cogan's legs have just let go completely. And look at that. He's absorbed in the bunch. I think my pint is safe now. Here they come. Let's jump in with Kieran Smith here. We're in with Smith, green jersey. Where am I? Tip for the front. He's the man in the black there. On the Zwift concept bike. These riders, though, now are coming in. We've got one U-turn to go around. James Allen is leading this out at the moment as we go up above. It's Russ going around the side of him. Kieran has seen the danger. He's trying to come across the gap. He closes that down, so it's Russ Downing now. James Allen, Kieran Smith coming on the side. Kieran backs off those watts down to 2.9 watts per kilo. And this leading group is coming in as a big pack here. It is a good size sprint group here. And this is going to be dangerous for some of our sprinters. It looks like Ryan Williams has made the group here as well. Cass is in here. Roper is in here. Russ is going for the early lead out. And Russ has gone early here. He's the rider who's kicked first as they go in. The banner is coming. They're at 200 meters to go. Ian Bibby is here as well. The Fat Cyclist is winding this up. Everybody's got the power on at the moment. The question is, can they answer the power coming from Smith? It looks like Leg's going to go over the top, and Leg takes it on the line. Leg takes it from Smith. Then it is the Fat Cyclist followed by Ian Bibby as they came in and through. Cass comes through as well as Roper. What great riding by these guys coming through in the bunch. That whole front bunch coming through very quickly. We're going to try and drop back out of this group and pick up our next group coming into the line. Another big sprint in here, and I think it is going to be Richards taking it from Goddard, then Genther, Whitehead, Luke Taylor in with this group as well. And you can see these groups are coming in incredibly quick. Another big sprint here. Lindley comes through in front of Rigby, then Law. Millie Skinner is going to be in this next group. Let's watch this group come in. We're going to jump up above them. So Millie Skinner kicking on the pedals here. So Millie on in this next group. Mel Blackford in here as well. It's Skinner on the front at the moment. Billy Nomate's coming up on the side. Millie Nomate's just takes it as they go in underneath the gantry there. Reed putting in a big kick as well. And some great riding as they come into the line. Next riders heading back in. They're coming in thick and fast. Shell from that front group, but you can see just how fast it is on the way through. It is going to be a Raccoon here coming up towards the line. as they come in. Tristan is on it, so Rocket Raccoon with Tristan from Harrogate are almost side by side. We're going to have to jump up into the camera above as they go underline. It is Raccoon from Tristan who takes it, jumping back into our next group here. Now this is going to be interesting to see. I think as it is the last time we're going to be in Oakley, August, courtesy of the guys from 1080. Let's jump up above the man who's made all that possible. That is Ian Taylor. A massive thank you, Ian, from everybody on the chain gang. You've been an absolute star. We know things haven't always been easy. At the moment you're in quarantine as well, but doing an amazing job. And as this group starts to wind it up with 200 meters to go, who's going to kick it through? I think it's going to be Knight who's leading them into the line. Matthews is coming hard behind, but it is going to be a Knight who comes through. Alan Parsons comes through, not too far. Dave Fulton and Ian Taylor rolling in and through. Great riding, everybody in that group. Great to see everybody making the way. And this is our next group coming in. This is how fast these groups are heading into the line. And as you can see, we're just focusing on Ted at the moment. He's moving his way up to the front here. Llewellyn is coming hard on him as they go under the line. It is Ted, then Llewellyn, Russell, and then Alan. Chris from the Alliance MTB coming through. With Stefano Borelli in the group as well. Some great riding from our riders. It looks like Gail Phillips, our winner in the women's ride, coming through indeed. So Gail is through, the women's winner of the Oakleys. As we drop our way back, we're going to try and jump in with some groups a little bit behind our riders. Maddie Smith has got through the line, which means we're going to drop back towards the riders behind, heading back in. We have to be a little bit careful here, because what we'll end up doing is dropping out of the group too far. Always a dangerous thing to do. So we're going to jump in with Gail Phillips. Gail is just up on to the climb. Looks like Russ Rubas is in as well. Now if we take a little bit of a look, about Reed is in. So we're going to have do a little bit of a search whilst Mr. Knight is there. We're going to find ourselves a particular Zwifter, and that is going to be Martin Bolt, our last rider on the course. In theory, I'm not so sure that's going to be the case. So Martin out on the course. Our randoms just appearing on the screen for the moment. So you have to just forgive us. It's so fast through. Not much distance for us to chase back after riders. But I think we can now join Mr. Bolt out on the course. Here we go. Whoop. Technology, when it works, is amazing. When it doesn't, it's entertaining, let us say. Now, of our group, Williams is our next rider heading. Apologies we missed you on the way through, but such is the speed of the groups today. We can't cover everybody. So Williams is our next rider heading towards the line here. And coming in towards the mile. Great riding as they come in. Williams in and through. 41.5k done. We're going to drop back to our next rider. This is Altaf. Great to see Altaf riding once again. He's a regular on the chain gang now. He's joined, and Altaf putting some strong performances once again. So Altaf, great riding. Good to see you, and we're looking forward to seeing plenty more as he comes into those last 200 meters to go. Altaf Hussein, our next rider on that nice aero bike, heading in towards line. So well done to Altaf, just coming in front of Atkinson and Morn, the next group chasing behind. Here we go. This is our next group out on the course. This is going to be 3 riders here. We have Atkinson, Morn and Inslee. There are 3 riders who are together at the moment. So Bradley Atkinson is who we are with at the moment. We've got Amy Morn in the blue. So Bradley Atkinson in the blue, dark blue jersey, the blue with Morn at the moment. She is the rider on the top there, but it's Sonia Inslee who's gone for it early in the white jersey. So Sonia Inslee kicking on at 6 watts per kilo. You can see on the top right, they're coming in towards the line. As we look up above them, it is going to be Amy Morn who comes up onto the front. Bradley Atkins is having none of it, so it's Inslee with the first kick, but it's going to be Atkinson just coming through across the line in front of Amy Morn and Sonia Inslee. Another great ride by them as they came in towards the line. That group working really, really well together. Next rider in is going to be Joshua Bird. Bird riding that standard Zwift bike with standard wheels. And plenty more speed to be had from Joshua, I think, once he's ridden plenty of Zwift events and upgrades that bike and the wheels, part of the wonderful Zwift platform. He's making his way in and through the line. Well done to Joshua. We're going to jump back towards the next group now. This is a really good group. They've been working really hard since very early on. This is Martin Bolt in here. We've got Alan in here as well. That's John Allen. We've got Emma Collier in here, and we've got our study time trial rider as well. So these riders are looking good at the moment. We're just with Alan. We've got Emma Collier in this group. We've got Study TT in here as well as our beacon, and that is Martin Bolt. Let's jump in with Martin for the moment as these riders make their way down. Remember, they're going to come in, they do the sharp right hand turn up on to the mall and head underneath Admiralty Arch, and you can see this is our beacon heading its way in at the moment, doing a great ride here, taking that right hand turn. Question is, which of these riders is going to take the sprint in? You can see top right, that's just starting to line their way up with the gantry in front. And at the moment, it is Collier, 2.5 watts per kilo, just going up to 2.6 in that pink and blue strip. It's Steady TT on the front in the blue, the beacon focused on Martin Bolt at the moment. As we go up above these riders, here we go in, and it's Martin Bolt now who's starting to open this up. He's opening up the gap at the minute, and if we take a look back, Martin Bolt is going to hold this under the line if he can keep the watts going. He's at 4.8. Emma Collier's coming for him. Is she going to get him on the line? It is going to be Collier. So Collier comes through, and our camera's just jumping up in the sky together. Emma Collier comes through to take that from Martin Bolt, Steady TT and Alan doing the business as well, which leaves us Miss Cookie out on the course. So this is going to be Miss Cookie on her way around the circuit, 34k covered, and I know a very determined rider who's going to be making her way in and round. Aero wheels next time round, I think, and that's going to be even quicker. So whilst we watch Miss Cookie coming into the line, I want to say some massive thank yous. A massive thank you to Ian Taylor, who has been supporting the Donny Chain Gang all month, along with our previous sponsors. They are the guys who keep it interesting for you. It's that simple. They give away loads of stuff. What more could we want? I want to say a massive thank you to the guys up there, to Zwift, to all of the team at Zwift Insider, and of course to fellow viewer as well, who give us all of our fantastic graphics that come out to you. Without them, it doesn't happen. I've got to say a big thank you to the guys at Grand Tour Coffee. Without them, I don't keep going, that is for sure, and lots of our riders are benefiting from the Chain Gang and using Ben Jenko's single source coffees, which are absolutely superb, and I should know I drink enough of the stuff. A big thank you to OTE, keeping us fueled all the way round, and without these guys it just doesn't happen. Again, keeping everybody on the bike. A big thank you to the guys at Bad Company, the Brewing and Distilling Company, based up at the airfield just north of Wetherby up there. Great stuff to have them on board, and plenty of beers being consumed as recovery drinks by our riders as well. Big thank you to the guys down there, HMT Hospitals, for keeping us all patched together, and to the guys up at the top, Mallorca Cycling, who also have looked after us in the past, and we're looking forward to going back on to the island as well. Remember, all these guys supporting the Donny Chain Gang, supporting you out there who are riding and making sure it happens on your Wahoo Turbo trainers, making sure that you got your bikes clean with muck-off products as well. All of those guys giving plenty of giveaways on the way through, out to you as riders. We're looking forward to seeing who Ian chooses for our rider, the most improved rider on the way through. So don't forget, if you want to get in touch with the guys at Downing Cycling, Russ's idea, kicking all of this off, working with Dean at Downing Cycling and myself, Matt Payne, to make this happen, to get you the coverage, to get you the rides, to stitch it all together and give you something to focus on through the week. Lots of our riders improving. If you want to get in touch, don't forget you can follow me on Twitter at MattFixerPayne. You can get hold of me on Facebook at MattFixerPayne as well. You can get hold of Fonzie Downing on Twitter, on Instagram. Don't forget to follow the Donny Chain Gang on the Facebook page and on Instagram. And of course, if you want to get in touch with Russ or with Dean for the best coaching around, make sure you get yourselves up to Downing Cycling. Russ at Downing Cycling and Dean at Downing Cycling. Coaching works, guys. It's that straightforward. Lots of the riders using the Chain Gang as part of the package, and that makes you go quicker. What we like to see, determination, get the knowledge from the coaches, get out there and ride, get on that Donny Chain Gang. And as Miss Cookie makes her way up on to the final turns, I want to say a massive thank you to all of our riders. Next week, no doubt be some more new courses. We may well be somewhere new we've never been before. You never know. Russ might decide to go to give everybody a surprise on Tuesday. If you want to know where the links are, make sure you have a look on the Facebook page and let us know all of your stories. In the meantime, as Miss Cookie comes in towards the end of the ride, I'm going to sign off. Make sure you keep it rubber side down. Have a great weekend. We'll be back on Tuesday with the next Donny Chain Gang.